What's good, guys? Derek here from DaseDesigns.com, and in today's video, I really wanted to bring you guys a part of my Mascot logo tutorial that I've been leaving out for a while for multiple reasons. But I really just want to show you guys how to properly add text and word mark to your logos to make it look good, like actually to make it work, right? So yeah, that's what I'm going to show you guys in this video. I want to keep this video as short as possible. I want to mention a few things at the beginning. I know my videos and channel has been kind of like all over the place because I've been all over the place lately, just what I want to focus on, what I want to do. I'm still trying to figure all that shit out. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy this video. Stick with me till the end, and I'm sure you guys will enjoy everything you're going to learn in this video. So when it comes to creating this word mark, this font, this is actually a font that I made. It's called eSports font. I made it specifically for this, and the unique part about this for me was kind of like the arches, or not the arches, just like these little points right here. I wanted it to kind of replicate, or at least remind me or somebody of like the feathers on an eagle, right? So if we look at the eagle, you know, we have these kind of like these points, these separated areas separating each batch of feathers. So I kind of did the same thing on this word mark. And again, I wanted up making that into a font. So yeah, anyways, that's kind of my idea and inspiration. I know that took way too long to explain. But yeah, I'm going to show you guys how to add a font and word marks. So, you know, once you find a font that kind of fits, and it's really just trial and error, we kind of go about adding that. So these are my fonts right here, and the one I'm going to be using is called Eagles Bold Condensed. So yeah, Eagles is the main text right here. And then I'm also going to do like a secondary text above. Originally, that's where, you know, like a team's home name would be. So yeah, again, this is the text right here. The only thing I want to do is arch the bottom and then take off these corners just to make it nice and square, and then add whatever, like a team's name above. I'm just going to put my name in this case. So yeah, for me, I don't have to do any editing really, just because it's a font. And if you guys like this font, I just released it yesterday, so you guys can actually purchase this font. So yeah, actually use the regular version. So yeah, this font comes with multiple styles. Like I said, there's bold, bold condensed, regular, and regular condensed. I'm pretty sure, yeah, I just used bold for this one, and then just reduce the size. So this makes it different, makes it easier to differentiate the main part of the word mark from like anything else, like the team's name, Eagles, in comparison to where they're from. Right, there's kind of like this hierarchy. We're the Eagles, rather than, we're not DaseDesigns. Like, this team isn't DaseDesigns. They're not, also not, you know, the city name, their name is the Eagles. So that's kind of why this one is smaller, and the hierarchy is kind of like that. So yeah, I take two fonts that I like and then go to go to expand. Just expand these guys, and then now we have the actual paths themselves. It's kind of how I start off. I take the font and then I usually kind of put it into the area that I've created, and then usually try to get the sizing right. So for this font, these little arches on the side, I want to get rid of these. So just to drag this one over again. So what I'm doing right now is just making a shape, getting rid of these anchor points, pushing A on my keyboard to the direct selection tool, click and drag it up, and this you know, makes this line nice and straight up. And then shape builder with Shift M, Alt click drag, that gets rid of that whole little shape that's unneeded. So yeah, I'm just gonna bring this to the middle. I'm gonna click on our Eagles font, V on your keyboard for the basic selection tool. Shift click on something you want to align it to, and then go to the align box and then click this one. Whoops, as long as you click on whatever you want it to be aligned to once more, so it's like double highlighted, and then click it, now it's in the center. So the sizing of this is good. I'm just gonna bring this down. So yeah, I'm just gonna bring this down and then bring this in the middle. And then again, highlight whatever you want to highlight, and then click on one object you want to align something to. Once it's double highlighted, click this one right here on align. Now they're both in the center of each other. So if we go back to the original, you notice there's just enough spacing in between. So I actually want to space these out, just to, you know, expand it upon the whole Eagles text. So I'm just going to go ahead and do this. I'll probably speed this up in the process. It looks pretty good. It's also much smaller on this one, so I'm just gonna reduce this. And then yeah, it's like I want it small, but not too small. You don't have to get it perfect now. It's something you can always edit later. So I want, you know, the eagle's the main name to take your eyes first, to capture you first. And then, you know, considering this is yellow, it's a different color, it's still nice and bright, it's still visible, you're gonna go to that second. That's kind of what I want. All right, so now the spacing looks pretty good on that. Again, align it. So now one thing I want to do is align these, I don't want this space right here. So I want to extend these minuses out, these hyphens, whatever you want to call them, and to directly link up with the edge of our letters right here. To align anchor points, just click A on your keyboard and then drag over one anchor point you want to align to something, and then shift click another anchor point, and the last anchor point you click on will be what it's going to align to. So then we go back to align and then click this one, the horizontal align center, and now, you know, we have a straight edge on both ends of our word mark. I want it to be symmetrical on both sides. So yeah, now we're going to do that with this one. Click and drag these two, click this last anchor point, boom. Now I'm just going to do the same thing on this side. And it's already been centered, so I know the sizing is directly in the middle. So yeah, now we got that and we got this. So the last thing I did was replicate these right here onto this, and that's just to give it some arch on the outside so it's not straight up and basic, kind of like my sketch right here. So yeah, I'm just gonna click on the anchor point and just move it over once because it doesn't need to be a lot. And then just kind of create a curve. It doesn't have to be perfect. So since I know this is in the center, one thing I didn't do was drag a ruler. So I'm gonna bring this ruler right here. All right, so now I'm just gonna ungroup our text right here, the team text. Click on the hyphen with V, so push V on your keyboard for the main overall selection tool. Click the object and then push O on your keyboard, and then Alt or Option, click, and then the reflect will come up, then push copy, and then it'll bring it directly to the other side. So yeah, O on your keyboard is for the reflection tool. Yeah, now we got this. This looks great. So now the last thing I want to do is start adding in these arches and stuff like that. It's kind of hard to see right now, so one thing I'm going to do is make this white, the font. Then here's where I add the overall thickness. So again, we want it to look similar. If we go back to the end result, you'll notice that the weight of our mascot logo, the eagle's head, and the shield, and the overall area, the thickness, the weight of our word mark matches. And that's the most important thing, because it makes it look like it's a family, like it was meant to, you know, be together, right? Like, you know, people can tell you're a family when you go out in public with your mom and dad, because you guys have similarities, whether it be your personality, you know, your facial structure. Like it's like every day that goes past, I look more and more like my dad. So yeah, we need to look similar, and that's how you can, you know, make it look better overall. So anyways, so I go to object, path, offset, path, and then here's where we start playing with numbers. 10 is too small, as you guys can see. If we look at the edge of the S towards the outside of the offset path, it's not big enough. It needs to be like 23. 23 is way too big, so 20 is probably good. And yeah, like the distance from the edge of our letter to the outline is pretty good right here. So 20 is good. So now before you do anything else, once you click OK, go to Pathfinder. You can always find that in window, and then make sure Pathfinder's clicked. But yeah, anyways, just click this button right here, and then you can click it. That just unites it. So we still have our letters. Now we just click it, ungroup, and then before you click anything else, shift click, and then that'll bring one of the grouped objects that were inside of everything. And then we have the other one. We just click and ungroup that again, and then shift click again, and then now we have our letters. I'm just pushing Command G to group and make sure it's grouped, and I push I on my keyboard, and then now we have that in white or yellow. So now we have our overall outline, and then I'm just gonna make sure it's the same color as that. So now that we have that, I usually copy off. Whenever I'm making major differences and steps, I usually copy and bring it off to the side. So Now we have each step, step 1, step 2, etc., etc. So for this step, I just want to get everything aligned. So the last thing, all we have to do is basically put on our arches, like the upper arch. There's kind of a small one on the top, and then a much larger one on the bottom. And then here's where I just kind of like perfect everything. So we know this is centered because everything else has been centered. I'm just going to get rid of this because the size is round. I'm doing the same thing I did with the S. I'm just deleting it. So now, again, both sides are straight. So I want to bring this down a bit. I feel like the top is too big. And then I'll probably move this down because I feel like this point is just too much. It looks ridiculous. Like on the finished one, this one is a little bit less ridiculous. And there's also curve into it. So sometimes you got to do things on your own. So now we're just adding that curve. So Shift C on an anchor point, and that's how you use, I forgot what the name of this tool is called, but yeah. So now we got that, and then just click and drag when you hold Shift, it just brings it out a bit. Now I'm just bringing in this a bit because I don't want it to be, ridiculous. So I want it to be just enough. So now we have at least the left side of our outline, right, the background of our word mark done. So we click that with V, and then we push M on our keyboard, and then take our guide. We start from the center of our guide, and then we create like a square. So we're gonna subtract this from that. So we have our square selected. Make sure it's lined up on the ruler. Granted, you created a ruler. Shift click the outline, and then Shift M, and then Option or Alt, click and drag, and that's how you delete. So now we got the left side done. Again, we're just gonna rotate it or reflect it to the right. So we click that with V, push O on our keyboard, go from the direct center, just click Option or hold Option and then click, and then make sure it's on vertical to flip off across the vertical axis, copy, done. So now we got that perfected. Both sides are good to go. And then here's where, make sure all of these are grouped. So if you're following along, I'm not sure, but yeah, here's where we can start adding some arches. And actually, I'm going to reduce the size just a bit, and that still looks fine. So what I did for this, I did like a slight arch on the top and then a main arch on the bottom. And then now, so this might look a bit weird, but whenever we add our arches, the warping, so go to Effect, Warp. I'm going to start off with the lower warp. It's probably -15 or something like that. Okay, more than that, -20. So yeah, the bend. You'll notice when things bend, when you use it this way, it kind of reduces the width of certain things. So that's something to keep in mind. And -23. So one thing I'm noticing when I'm doing this is about the right bend, but now since the distance of like this overall thing is too much, it's making the top of eagles round out, and I don't want that. Like I want this to be straight. So we're going to arch the upper, apply a new effect, and then we're going to try something much more subtle, like a -7. That looks pretty good, but I kind of want to do a -5, and that's pretty good. So usually I would, extend this out, spend much more time making sure the distance and the height and the width and everything like that is a little bit better. For the sake of this tutorial, I'm just going to expand this out a bit. I would never recommend doing this, but yeah, I'm just doing this for the sake of saving time. So yeah, this looks pretty good. And yeah, so now that we got those done, the warps and the arches and everything looks pretty good, now we can simply go to Object, Expand Appearance. Now this gets rid of our arches and stuff. I'm stuttering so much. But so yeah, before we actually do that step, we want to go to the overall object, hold Option or Alt, click and drag it off to the side. In case we want to go back, take a step back, we can always go back. And then since we didn't expand the appearance, we can just go to Appearance, and then we can actually edit each individual arc that we set on there. So since we're happy with this one, we're just going to go to Object, Expand Appearance, and then now the word mark is actually done. So to finish everything off, I'm just going to skip ahead a little bit right here. This is another thing, so now that we got everything looking proper together, the last thing I want to show you guys how to do is how to complete it. Why not? So yeah, you take everything, right? You have your word mark, all good to go. Everything is good. the overall shield, the Mascot logo, whatever. Push V on your keyboard, click drag over everything, Command G, and that's groups everything. So now if we just click it once and drag it over, we're good. So super important. Now make sure that everything is highlighted. Command C to copy, and then Command B to paste behind. So if I was to drag this over, you guys can see that it's there. Yeah, so now before you click anything else, you want to go back to Pathfinder and click this one, and this unites everything. So now when I go to transparency, you see we have a filled flat shape right here. So we're gonna create our outline with this. So without clicking off of this, because we wanna keep it, just go to Object, Path, and then again, we're gonna do the same thing again, Offset Path, and then pick a number, any number, what's your lucky number? So for me, 12, usually anywhere between 7 to 10, depending on the size of the overall document you're working on. This is about good. We don't want, well, it kind of depends on the style, but for this one, I wanted something much, or about half size as the overall thickness of the weight of the outlines of the logo. So for me, this was about good. And then I'm just gonna choose yellow just so you guys can kind of see it. And that's about right. I think I just deleted the the original one. No, it's right here. All right, cool. So yeah, actually, yeah, this one is about half, maybe a little bit under half of the weight. So that's kind of how I did that. So anyways, this one is actually super messed up. So I'm gonna pause the video and get back to you guys in a sec. All right, so yeah, anyways, so the last thing you want to do is kind of like just take more time on the outline. So you'll notice it's got this like flat mark right here. It just flattens up. It looks really lame and it's not right. And then we also have like these little errors at the end. I'm not really sure why those happen. Those happened the original time too. But yeah, I'm just gonna take a few seconds to kind of fix these and then just get all this together. For this, I'm just eyeballing it really. You can be much more meticulous, but I'm just gonna kind of eyeball it. And then just delete these anchor points, probably bring this one in a bit more. Doesn't have to be super crazy. And then yeah, I'm gonna do the same method again for the outline. Just cut it in half, and I created another ruler. Whenever you're doing this, just make sure that it's like directly on this ruler, because if not, it will be so annoying and create a bunch of unneeded anchor points. So yeah, again, another way to subtract it is again to go to Pathfinder and then click this one. This is minus front, or the other one, which is minus back. So yeah, now we can highlight this, V, click drag, O on our keyboard for the reflect tool, hold Option or Alt, and then once we click, this comes up, copy, click both of these, and then again, unite both of these guys, and now we have our shape. So now I'm just gonna send it to the back by Shift Command, and then the left bracket key. That's how you send it all the way to the back, right bracket key all the way to the front, and then Command, just hold Command, and then each bracket key, when you let go of Shift and then just hold Command and the bracket keys, it does it one layer at a time. So yeah, I just do that until it's behind it. And then yeah, that's pretty much the logo, and that's how I add word marks properly to Mascot logos, guys. So I hope this video has been helpful for you guys. I really kind of just wanted to show off this Eagles logo font, just to be straightforward with you guys. If you've been following my Instagram stories lately, you'll notice I've been getting really inspired by making my own fonts and just diving a bit deeper into font creation, typefaces, and stuff like that. So yesterday, as I mentioned earlier in the video, I just released this Eagles font right here. And yeah, I really just wanted to show you guys how I would kind of go about using it and how to properly use it to make word marks. So here on my Sellify page, Sellify, however you say that, link in the description, you know, I have the full sports font family, and it was created with, you know, this scenario, these scenarios in mind. You know, we got the secondary font for the team's name, or eSports, usually seen below the main team name, like eSports or gaming would be down here in place of the football and stuff like that. So definitely check out this font if you guys want to check out the font, download it, use it for future projects. You can use it on an unlimited amount of personal projects and client projects once you purchase the actual font itself. And then yeah, I also have 3 different packages. Like I have the bolds, and that's like the one that we just used, or I just used for this one. We got bolds right here, and then we have bold condensed. And again, you guys can click through the pictures just to see what you're getting. And then I also have the regulars variation, you know, which has regular condensed and regular, just separate packages. for you guys to kind of sift through whichever you guys prefer. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. This is the first video I wanted to make based on this. I'm gonna be making more fonts. I got tons of ideas, literally woke up with ideas yesterday morning, which was fire. But yeah, I got another one in the works. Check out my Instagram, which is at DaseDesigns, and check out my stories. I've been super active on there lately, posting, you know, behind the scenes of these fonts I'm making. Typefaces, again, they're all gonna be sports based, super dope. And they're all kind of also based on like previous logos that I've made, just because a lot of the times I'll kind of, you know, make fonts or like edit a word mark specifically for it with like special characters and stuff like this S, and especially like this M. That's what I really want to do, like make a font based on this word mark right here, Misto, and then, you know, have a bunch of characters similar to the M. I think it's super fire, and that'll be a dope font for you guys to actually have instead of making it from scratch, kind of like I'm doing. And then some other ones I kind of want to do is definitely this one right here, which is Warlock. So I'm definitely going to be doing this. This is going to be my third font release. It's going to be called Witchcraft, coming up very soon. I want to get these done before the month is over. I think this is going to be super dope. You know, the R is super fire and unique. The A, the W, the K, and more. Like, considering those are so unique, I really want to make a font out of that. So I'm going to be doing that too. So yeah, guys, for updates on those, again, like I said, follow your boy on Instagram. Check out my stories. I'm also going to be posting about these. And then check out the Sellify page that you guys can actually purchase these and use in your client projects and stuff like that. I'm getting tired. I've been talking so much. I know this video was like hella long, but the last thing I wanted to say, if you enjoy videos like this, be sure to leave a comment, any feedback in the comment section below. And be sure to check out my eSports logo course, also linked in the description. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll catch y'all in the next one, and I hope you guys have a good day. Peace.